Okay, we're live. Welcome back to SaaS Buyers Club. I'm your host, Omeed.
And I'm Joe, your co-host.
And I'm Ayoub.
Yeah, so today we have Ayoub with us. Ayoub is the former founder of FastDoc. He's an indie hacker. He's a SaaS founder with multiple exits. Thanks for joining us today, Ayoub.
Yeah, thank you, Omeed and Joy, for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. And how we usually like to, start our show is, so you were previously the founder of FastDoc. You've exited that. You've exited 2 other startups. Is that right?
Yes, if you can say that, yes.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about FastDoc and the other startups that you've exited.
Yeah, so the first solution that we have exited or we have sold is it was a SaaS solution in its very early stage. We didn't go to the market with this solution. We made a lot of errors, and so at a point of time we decided to sell it instead of going to the market. Then later we sold an iOS mobile apps also. It was making some income, some revenue, and lately we sold and exited the FastDoc, which was our last SaaS on which we were working. So those were the 3 products that we have sold.
Great. So, what was the first? So I hear the first company that you exited, you actually didn't even get to market. So what was that product?
So mainly it was like a minimal ERP, enterprise resource planning. It was a solution for business management with the buying management, selling management, CRM, contact management, everything related to business management. We made a lot of mistakes in that solution. So at a point of time, we find that it won't be scalable, it won't be maintainable. We can't edit it later. There is problems in the database, and we say that if we go to the market at a point of time, we won't be able to scale the solution. We won't be able to edit, to add features asked by users, because the architecture of the solution, it wasn't done in a good manner. So, and the second problem, it was like we have built the solution. We worked on the solution for 2 or 3 months, but we didn't done any benchmarking, any market research. So mainly at the point where we were going to launch the solution, we find that we are going to be in competition with big companies with a high concurrency field, including the business management solution, the ERP, the CRMs. So it wasn't a good choice to go to the market and put efforts, money, budget for marketing and everything on a solution that there is like a low expectancy to be successful. So for us, the normal choice was to exit that solution, to get like a little bit of money. It's like a payment for the 2 or 3 months of work on that solution, and to move for another. It's like the idea is it's like a compound effect. For every solution, you are learning things that will be included as inputs in the next solution. So this is how we work. Like we were working like for 10 or 12 products till now for the last 3 years, and the idea, it's always that the current product we are maybe working on is using learning and avoiding some mistakes that was done in the other previous products. And this is how we improve the process of work, the process of building, the process of launching the products.
So, heard you loud and clear there. So I have a few follow-up questions, which I think will be very useful to talk about, that are applicable for the audience. But before I get to that, I kind of want to do a brief recap of what each three of these businesses did or does, and also what you're working on now. If there's any specific project that you want to call out, or just kind of talk about generally what your goals and intentions are now moving forward. So why don't we do that first, and then we could pull the conversation back a little bit and get into some details about these exits and the thought processes that went into play there, because that's so useful just to hear somebody's story about experience they had, even if it was just a few months, for example, on that first one.
Yeah,
It's so useful for founders to hear.
Learn from experiences.
Yeah, this is what somebody else did, and these are my options, and it's very useful. So let's pull back after we kind of do a little summarization here. With that in mind, the second company that you exited, what was their product? And then we could get into details after, but maybe in one sentence or something, what was the product?
Yes, mainly the idea here is that we have a company. I have a company in Morocco and another one in the Emirates, but we are selling the products, not the company. So the company produce and build a lot of products, and we are just selling or exiting the products. So for like the second product, it was an iOS mobile apps, that is for in the entertainment field. It was like for everything related to movie discovery, movie exploring, like discovering a large database of movies. So yeah, and it was on a monetization based on an advertising business model. So it's like after a few months, it was like generating $200 or to $300 per month. So mainly we sell it. Like we find that there is a lot of other similar apps in the field, a lot of concurrent that were and we see some drop in the traffic used by app and in the revenues. So we decided to move on, and it's like I'm someone who got bored from working on one solution for a long time.
So yeah, I hear you there. Okay, now that makes sense. I definitely have some follow-up questions there too. And then on to FastDoc, and forgive me if I was saying it wrong. I think it was FastDoc. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and then onto that product, that solution. What was the product there?
The product is like it was a document generator, online document generator. It's like you are a user, you access. We give you some focused questions. So you pick a document template, and we give you a few focused questions for this template, for these documents. And at the end of the process, you will get a generated document ready to be used wherever you want. It's like we were generating documents in 7 fields, including medical fields, legal fields, health fields, or resource human fields, business fields. It's like we were generating medical prescription, medical certificate, business plan, invoice, code, estimation, project pricing, project specification documents. The idea was to help everyone out there to generate documents in a few seconds or sometimes minutes, to let them get focused more on the business aspects and forget about the structure of document or about the it's like when you go to a bank, you want to take, by example, a loan for a project, and they ask you for a business plan. So for the business plan, you should get like an accountant or someone to help you on that. So mainly you are at that moment you will find yourself making pushing efforts and time on something that is not your specialty or in your skills. So that's something that you shouldn't be putting a lot of time on. Like as I say, for everyone have his own specialty, have his own field. So we can't do everything. So if you get asked or got asked by the bank for a document, or by even if you want to create a website, you will go to the someone in the legal field to create for you a privacy policy and terms of service. So FastDoc will help you to generate a standard minimal privacy policy and terms of service, by example, for the website. So you can focus on building the website, not on building a terms of service. And if you want something complicated, you at that moment you can go to a legal consultant or someone on that field. But at the early stage, you should just get a minimal document to put on your website so you can move and build things. You should be
so you can move fast.
Yes, you shouldn't be like blocked for days to create a terms of service or a privacy policy or something like that. So we were generating minimal documents, structured documents on the Anglophone standard for users. We don't give them like the ability to create customized templates. It's like when we want to create a terms of service, like we do a market research for all the terms of services. We check with legal persons in the legal field to see that these terms of service is correct, and we put it in our website. So when user access like FastDoc, we ask them few questions like, what is your website? What is your service? The service provider of the website, and in a few seconds we'll generate a terms of service, including standard clauses, and including the name of website, the date, the services of website. So that's what the idea.
Got it. Is it from an engineering perspective? Is it a form filling, or is it a generative algorithm?
It's a form filling. It's like a step-by-step process. So
I know what that is. We're lawyers, so like we're exactly who likes that kind
it's
of
like
thing.
It's a form, and like we have in the first step we ask you for the name of the company. The second step we ask you for the name of website. The third step we ask you for the service provided by the website. The fourth step we give you a button to generate, and when you click generate, you have a document ready to be used and to be included in your website or wherever you want.
Okay, I hear you loud and clear. No, that makes a lot of sense. Go ahead, Omeed.
Yeah, no, that's great, and we're totally gonna dig into all of these. I think I'm clear on the function of FastDoc in terms of how it works and what it does, and then just real quick, so we've kind of quickly walked through the 3 companies that you've worked on to date, which by the way, 3 exits. It sounds like you have caught the what we call the bug for exits. You enjoy selling companies. Is that the case? Like
products in this case, but Omeed means the same
product.
thing.
Yeah. But mainly
the same thing, though,
they are not a big exit, but as in my vision, if you build something, either you scale it to a given point, or you sell it. You should never archive your project or delete it or just shut it down. That's the
so
idea.
interesting. That's so interesting, because I feel like a lot of people like wish that they could sell products, and especially like in that early stage around the 2 or 3 month period, like to be able to sell the product and actually have a buyer that's like willing to pay money for a product in that early stage is like it's not something that like I have heard of too often. Joe, it looks like you want to say something.
Omeed, that's actually one of the things that popped up earlier in my mind that I want to jump into when we talk into some more details of breaking these down. And actually, Omeed, what I'd say there is, I think that's a great key takeaway here from this interview with Ayoub is like, for more development or engineering minded founders or people to just always have in mind exactly what he said, which is that you should have a plan for your exit and what you're going to scale it to, because so many people do have, I'm going to build this great thing, or I want to achieve this dollar figure, but then they blow past it and they're kind of stuck in the abyss of sitting with a business that they're kind of just identified with, but they don't really have any next big business objectives like sell it, go build other thing. They just kind of get trapped in that loop of what they're working on. So I love that. I think that's a really, and Ayoub, you're a developer yourself. That's right?
Yes.
By the way, just touching on that real quick while we're there, what languages do you develop in, or any specific highlights you could just give me there so people know like what you do?
So mainly at the first, I was, by the way, I'm a software engineer in computed and distributed system engineer. So mainly at the first, I was working like a freelancer for like 10 years with Java technologies. So when I started my own company, I find that is too costly and too expensive to work with Java. It's like it needs servers, it needs JVM, it needs a lot of conditions, which is not something that may help someone who will start his own business. So we moved to like actually we're working like for 3 or 4 years now with the Laravel and framework in PHP. And for mobile apps, we are working mainly. We work just with the Swift UI, as we are completely focusing on the iOS ecosystem.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I think that's really helpful. It's always good to get an actual understanding of what people do, because there's definitely different archetypes and of people that are in your position. So with that, okay, I kind of took us off on a little tangent there. I want to pull back to Omeed's question though. Why don't you speak to that, like just having that business mindset as to when to exit and having an objective, and maybe you have some other points to raise that you think about regarding that.
Yeah, so mainly, as I said, I was a freelancer for 10 years. I was working even after that on multiple companies in publicly and privately held companies. So when I started my company, I was working mainly on technical aspects. But when you are on the market, you discover that the technical aspects will not take you anywhere if you are focusing just on technical aspects. So at that moment, even at the time I created my company in 2018, I was confronted to the reality that I should learn about accounting, about legal aspects, about how to recruit people, what are the type of contracts, what is the salary, what is the composition of and the element of a salary. So I started learning from there, and after 2 or 3 years, I was just focusing on the business side, on the marketing side. And so at that moment, my brother and the partner joined me as it was mainly focused on the technical side. And I started diving a lot in the business side. So because when you are focusing on the technical side, you don't have the business vision. So when you are like developing or building a tool in your computer in your room or closed room, so you don't have the time to discover the market, to benchmark, to know what are the problem, what is working, what is not working, how to get traffic, a lot of questions. So when you have like someone in the technical part, at that moment you can go back, see all the big picture, get all the elements, know like even sometimes we are just developing or building with my brother or partner. We are building at the same time. So sometimes I just stop coding, he continues coding. So I get back and see what he built. I see from behind that this is not going to be good for the market. This is not this is not going to be good for like if I see it from the user's side, from the as a user experience, this is not good. By example, if I continue building and they continue building, we won't have the vision and the mindset to check about user experience, about user interfaces, about user graphic, about how the user will interact with our tool. So those things, if you are immersed completely in the technical aspects, you can go to the market, but there will be a lot of problem at that moment. How to get
I
user,
think
how to get traffic. This is the point, because the most important question to ask is this a problem, and how to get users to use our solution. Those are the
that's
main.
super interesting. That's super interesting because I think for even a lot of technical founders, even if they had another technical person on the team, I honestly don't think that they would think, a lot of them would think the same way that you would. In terms of what I hear from your story is that your brother came in and it created space for you to step into the business role. And by stepping into the business role, you were able to identify the market and not fall into a trap that we see a lot of the technical people fall into, which is getting too focused on the building of the product without like what they call skating to the puck. Skating to the puck is like meeting the market where it is. For you, the space opened up. You were like, well, I don't have to code anymore, so let me focus on the business side. And what I hear you saying is like, because that space opened up, you were able to step into the business side. But I actually want to challenge you a little bit there, because it's clear that you have like a curiosity. Like, do you think that it might actually be that you have like a natural talent for business potentially? Is that what it is? Or, once you stepped into out of the technical side, what did your journey of learning business look like? Or, and what advice would you have for other founders who, are more on the technical side?
So mainly I'm following the journey of a lot of like indie hackers or founders who are building who are working like as solopreneurs, and see how they build their solution. But importantly, it's not how they build their solution, but how it is their go-to market, how they are launching their solution, how they are acquiring users, how they are building getting revenues and profits from their solutions. So for every founder or every solution that is built, you get an insight, but it's still for you an hypothesis. It's not a confirmation. It might not work for you. Look into your context, look into your solution. So the idea here is to have for the day of your launch, you have a list of hypotheses to confirm. So mainly when we are building a solution, like I have a list of the how to get users. Like we will do maybe a launch on product hand. We will push the solution on some business directories like this and this and this. Next we will like contact someone on YouTube or an influencer or on TikTok to talk about our solution. We will reach to Facebook groups about our solution. Like I have a list of actions that are ready to be taken in order, because mainly I'm focused a lot on the organic traffic for all my solutions. I try not to put any money on the early stage for the solution. So mainly I have like maybe 10 actions, and every time I see a founder like talking about a solution, about a strategy who gotten him users, I add it to my list, because for me, I have my efforts, I have my time, but I don't put money, by example, for at the early stage. So I will try all the strategies, and like it's as it said at the beginning, you do things that don't scale. Like you talk to users, you put on groups, you add your solution to because you are in a validation step. When you got that first revenues, at that time you can scale, you can push efforts on marketing, you can put budget on marketing. So and this is mainly what's important is, as you said, is the business mindset. Because 2 or 3 years ago, if I meet you at maybe an event or in a conference, if you talk to me about like a problem you have, the question and that will be circulation in my mind is, how can I build this solution? What technologies or tech stack I will be using? But actually, if you talk to me about a problem you have, the kind of question that I might ask is it really a problem? Is there a market there? Is there an audience or a users? Is there other similar person like you who are having the same problem? Maybe I will go talk to the users. Maybe I will do a lot of things before even writing any line of code for that solution. So it's for us, it's like I have this mindset of putting a multi-layer validation. Like I have the first validation with you when you explicitly talk about the problem with me. The second validation, I will go talk with a group of users that are who are having the same persona or the same profile as you. And like maybe I will go to the third validation and talk about a solution that is not yet existing, but it's like presenting like just in a landing page, trying to get maybe early users, even if I don't have a solution in the background. So after those multi-layer validation, maybe I could go and build an MVP before, because I have something that it may be working. Even after all those validation, I say that it may be working, it's not working. But in 3 or 4 years ago, I will start a solution, I will work on it 3 or 4 months, and I will along the 3 months, I will always be saying that this is a great solution, this will be useful. But this is all is circulation just in my mind.
There is. I love that. That's definitely a story that's common among founders, and just sort of more of that evolutionary process by which you came to where you are now. That definitely, yeah. I love to hear that. That's great. No, that's. I mean, yeah, that is what it is. You know, there's a lot of technical people who never make that gap, and they'll bring on other business people on their team, or they just kind of never really do get a product into the right market. You know, I've definitely seen great technical minds flounder in that area for decades. That's not an uncommon thing.
Naval Ravikant says that if you can have technical capability paired with business acumen, you're unstoppable. That's what he says. Yeah.
I like that.
Hey, I heard you say, you know, that the way that you stepped into, Joe, I'm just going to ask this question and I'm going to pass the mic over to you. Just last quick question. I heard you say that, you know, the way that you stepped into the business mindset was there were other indie hackers that you kind of look up to, and you followed in their footsteps. Who are some of those indie hackers that you kind of look up to?
Who came to my mind directly is like Peter Levels. He's an indie hacker. He built Remote OK and Nomad List. He built like 2 other solutions on the AI. He's like a solo founder, solopreneur. He's alone managing like 4 products of making more than $5 million or $4 million per year. All is running by like bots and scripts. So I'm following his journey, his launch. Mainly is actually at the moment is a lot based on the Twitter audience. So there is a lot of things to learn from there. And I think is the indie hacker community on Twitter. It's just great. And also on the building public aspects, like there is a lot of founders who are building in public, like pushing solution, pushing every step in their building process publicly. So they talk about what are the daily problems, what are they add into the solution day by day. When they finish it, they launch the solution. So you have like it's like all the guidelines to launch a solution like someone else. So from everyone, you took like an insight, an input, a data, and you use it in your context, and you adapt it. So also there is the indie hacker community. It's like the indiehackers.com. It's a website. It's putting all the products with their monthly revenues, and when you click a product, you have all the story from the beginning, from zero, how they got their first 10 users, how they got their 100 users, how they exited, if they exited, how they scaled, how they added employees to their team. It's like there is a lot of things to explore on that side.
Yeah, that's really cool. Omeed, do you have any follow-up questions there?
No, please, Joe.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Yeah, I know what the indie hacker is. That's some old school stuff right there, man. And so that's cool. I hear where you're coming from, and about your journey there. I really want to know. I mean, it sounds like what you're doing now is continuing to make products with that business mindset in mind and with the exit planning in mind. I do want to know like what you're up to now, but also I kind of want to dive into details. We've kind of talked a bit about like starting up a business and the evolution of a founder. Cool stuff. I do want to really touch in on if we can get from you any cool insights about your experience with exiting businesses, maybe things you've seen from your fellow founders that were good lessons learned that would be helpful for other people to learn from. So I would really like to ask you about that type of stuff. So why don't we, and that's the kind of stuff I was talking about when I said let's dig deeper into your prior experiences. Why don't we go ahead and cap off right now with, what you're up to right now, and it sounds like just making some products, and then let's talk about that exit stuff.
Yeah. So actually, we are working on a MicroSaaS solution for the Shopify stores owners. So it's like it helps to increase the security of the stores inside the Shopify community, and like it helps to block users and unwanted accesses by IP addresses and by countries. So the solution it have like 4 or 5 months now. So we are working. It's like as I say, it's a compound effect of learning. It's a learning process. So at a point of time, I find that what it's called like the company of one. It's like I can't build a $1 million product, but I can build like 10 products making $1,000 per $100,000 per month, by example. So mainly the idea is not to focus on one business for 3 years or 4 years, but the idea is to build micro products for micro niche, for micro problems, having an audience solve their problem, get at a point of revenue or of income from that solution, to a point where it don't start to be stressful, to be including a lot of support, a lot of features, because a lot of features mean a lot of support, means maybe a lot of users. So I prefer having like a 2 solution making $1,000 per solution to instead of having one solution making $2,000. So the idea here is to have multiple solutions. It's like at the background, it's a multiple assets. So you have a solution solving a specific problem for specific audience. you can't have a lot of support. You can't have a lot of things asked for that solution, because all the support elements will be, or the tickets will be solved at the beginning of the solution. Later, it will be just like a passively running solution on autopilot.
Yeah, it sounds like your thesis, what you found is that works for you is you really like the 0 to 1 process pretty much. You know, at the beginning of this episode, we talked about how, you know, one of the things that you realized was either, you know, have a plan for exit or scale. And it sounds like the thesis that you're kind of working on is cool. We're going to, you know, get to you know, a product market fit, and then we're going to exit. And that's the way, you know, you're going to do things, because you don't necessarily want to go beyond product market fit and scale. That's what I'm hearing. Is that accurate?
Sometimes it's not about refusing to scale or to exit. You can get at a point and you stop scaling, and just you don't exit the solution, but you stop scaling, because scaling, it's not always healthy. There is a point of time where scaling will be negatively impacting you.
I love that. So really 3 things, like exit, scale, or at some, you know, basically at some scale.
Yes, it's like the theory of diminishing returns. Like, there is a point of time where you start being like a, by example, if you're having a server, at a point of time, if you add user, you won't have more profit, but you will have more expenses on the server aspect, by example, and you will have more support tickets, and you will have more features asked by those users, and you will have more elements. So you will prefer to stop acquiring users and focus on the users you already have, better than acquiring new users, new problems, new feedback, new support tickets, new server costs, and a lot of things.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear there. So why don't we? I want to talk more about your mindset regarding like these key business decisions that occur in the life cycle of a product or company, because I think it's a super healthy conversation that not a lot of founders have, or they tend to be more business-minded founders. I think that's really great that you're so clear-minded about that subject. So I want to talk that out with you. Well, I feel like I have a good understanding of what you're working on now. Makes a lot of sense. I hear you, especially like with the current trend of, hey, can I have something that's just on autopilot, that runs itself, whether it's with, you know, whether it's with chatbots or what, you know, in whichever way, basically applying some AI/machine learning to have your own business that runs itself. That makes a lot of sense, and I love to see that. You know, now moving with that in mind, now let's move the conversation and talk about, okay, you're a founder, you've had some exit experiences, you plan to do that moving forward. What kind of stories or lessons can we talk to you about? And let's start off this conversation with this open-ended question, like, what's the biggest lesson you learned about the exit or sale process of a product or company that you would like to share? And maybe if there's a story associated with it, tell us the story.
So I will give you 2 lessons.
Okay, cool. I want them all.
Oh, not just 1, 2.
Yeah,
I
give
love
me
it.
3. Oh, go on.
So the first one is to always build with an exit in the mind, even if you don't want to exit later. Just having this exit mindset, it helps in organizing all the products or the business aspects. I will give you an example. Like for my first 2 exits or selling, I was in a mess to move all the product assets to the new owner. So it's like I have graphics somewhere. I have some elements in my drop or drive. I have it's like maybe I have the domain name on a domain name registrar that is it makes it hard to transfer it for someone else, like a lot of those kinds of elements. So it takes time to move the business for someone else. So this let me learn, helped me to learn about that. So for the third solution, like FastDoc, all the process of transferring assets didn't take more than 20 minutes, because I have a folder called FastDoc in my laptop. On that folder, I have another folder where there is the code source. I have a folder with the graphics. I have a folder for the social media elements. I have like a folder including all the passwords for the social media accounts and everything else. So even if I'm not wanting to excite the product, I know I have the business is organized. Even if I'm not in my laptop, I can call someone, ask him to access that folder, inside that folder, and he can give me the information even if I'm not in my laptop. So it helps organizing the elements. It helps maybe for persons who want to get like angel investors or venture capitalists. It helps them to get an organized mindset about their product or their business. They know exactly how the business is structured. Like when you are with an investor and you are talking about your business, you know where is the graphic, where is the code source, what are the versions of the code source, what are the editions or versions of the company icon or logo. You have the graphics of everything. So you have everything organized in a point or in a part in your laptop. And like the second thing
let's comment on that first one. I want to emphasize how awesome of a lesson that is. You're right on there with doing that. I operate the same way. I recommend everybody else does too. I'd even go so far as to say that if you've already built something and you didn't do that from the get-go and maybe it's still a little choppy, before you do get to the place where you want to exit your product or company, go ahead and do that process. In other words, say you want to, okay, maybe I want to sell this company in 6 months. Start now on getting all those ducks in a row, because you do not want to be talking to people about selling your business and also have to do all that stuff at the same time. And you don't want to be causing delays to a sale process on this type of stuff that you could have set up in advance. What we like to say to founders out there is that make sure that you're ready for the sale at the time of sale, and you do all these various workflows that get you there. A big one usually is they haven't done any of their accounts correctly, their financial statements, and they kind of just think it's something they're going to do after they've started taking buyers' time and attention. And so, in other words, prepping up for the sale is a huge lesson. So I love in your example too, your story too, of how it came to be. Omeed, what do you think about that? And then I want to toss it back to you, Ayoub. You know, I like that first lesson. I want to hear the next one. What do you think, Omeed?
Yeah, totally. I mean, we've talked so much about being exit ready, keeping your eye on the exit. You know, these are the things that we've talked about in prior episodes. So yeah, it's interesting. Actually, a question comes up for me, Ayoub. Why do you think founders don't prepare for the exit? And actually, I think there's a story there for you, right? Like you ran into a hiccup with one of your exits around being exit ready. Is that right?
So that's mainly related to the second lesson I was going to talk about. So it's to never underestimate what you are working on. So mainly when if you put like 1 month working on something, means that you put an effort and time on that thing. So never underestimate or put hypothesis that this is not gonna work. If it's not gonna work for you, maybe there is someone else with a business mindset who don't have the technical aspects. So he can take the things that you have built and push it on the market, and he know like how to get users. So there is always that hope or that probability to make that work for someone else. So that's why I say when like you work on a solution, and at a point of time you want to stop working on that solution, or you can't get like acquire users, just put it on websites for acquiring or exiting, just like reach to people, to investors or people who are buying solution. But never just make the hypothesis that it's not working and just you delete the folder from your laptop or you archive it and you stop and you move. You put an effort, just put another effort to try to get it for sold for someone else, even for any amount. Just it shouldn't be like killed for that. Something that it's not working in your mindset may be very useful for someone else. So that's the idea, and that's why, like for the first solution for the business management, it's like we didn't build the solution from scratch. We were in our first days working on SaaS products, learning about SaaS. So we bought a code, a source code. We changed all the graphic aspects. We changed the user experience. We changed the user interfaces. We worked like 2 months to make it a better product in terms of user experience and user interfaces. So we removed some feature, we added some other feature, but we didn't touch it to the architecture or the structure of the database or of the tool. So at a point of time, we wanted to integrate like a payment gateway. We found some problems. Like we tried with other, because the solution was made to work with Stripe, and in Morocco you can't get Stripe, so we created a company in UK. So just to get a Stripe account, we got Stripe account. It got closed after 3 days. They found that we got connected from Morocco, so we did have a lot of problems in the payment gateway aspects. Also, when we try to change the payment gateway, we find that we should change things in the database, and we find that if we change things in the database, we will touch some basic aspects of the application. That's where we made this decision that just for the payment gateway we find a problem. What if we launch it and we got a request from a user to change something like in the contacts functionality or something like that? We will find another problem, and at that moment the solution will be like on the market. That will be a big problem later. So at that moment there was the idea of just shutting down the solution, the product, archive it, and move around and move to another product. So by accident, I was like circulating on navigating on the network. I was like on Flippa. I pushed the solution there, and like we for the source code we bought it with the $50, and we worked for about 2 months. So I got a company from India. It was like interested in the solution after 3 days of pushing it in Flippa. So we sold the solution like with about $4,000 or $5,000, and we moved around. From that time, I seen that it's never a good idea to underestimate something. So it's maybe for that company, they have plans, they have vision.
And what were those plans? Why did they buy that product? Do you know?
Maybe for a company, they could, if they want to use the product internally, it will be great for them. They won't pay subscription for other products. They just took the product one time for $4,000 or $5,000. They will push it on their server. They will have all the contacts, all the invoices, all the estimations, all the purchases and the expenses managed internally on the company. So it will be less expensive if we compare to a solution running on the cloud, by example, and paid by a monthly subscription, maybe. So that's why sometimes it's not because you have already lost 1 or 2 months of work, of effort, of time on that solution. So you can lose some days to try to reach people on that field, to reach investors, to reach buyers, to list it on directories for exits. So I think if you can put 1 month on a solution, you can put 4 or 5 days to do that.
Yeah, I think that's super helpful. One thing about that is that, like, part of the exit planning very much so does have to do with, okay, what am I working on now? When's my current milestone going to be met for my objectives? And what next big projects do I have to do? So if people basically are like, oh, I have to do this big change to the app upcoming, maybe they don't want to have that fight. And at such point, they can say, okay, after I finish this project or this one, or we finish testing our hypothesis about trying out this other target demographic for our product. And then at that point, I'll go ahead and list it for sale. I think that's a super helpful way of just like, and healthy way of just thinking about the timing of selling a business.
Yeah, I think the problem here, mainly other than that, is that the mindset of the person like building the solution. Because like for us or for me, I'm like adopting a minimalist entrepreneur mindset. So when you are building something, from the first day, you are like dreaming of thousands of users, of $1 million subscription revenues, like so that's not the idea. The idea here is like I'm building a solution, is what is my time to market, to go fastly to the market and try at the beginning just to cover my expenses. If I have $100 of cost for the solution or the product, I just want to get users to pay me like $100 to cover my expenses. So that will avoid for me to shut down or to archive the solution, because it's covers the servers. I can let it publicly live, and doesn't matter. So after getting to covering the expenses, at that moment I can take to be profitable or remain profitable. Later, when I'm profitable, I can think to get at another scale of profitability. Later, I can and step by step. It's not like from the beginning I'm looking to build the next unicorn, the next Facebook, or the next Twitter. The idea is to get the first user, the first 10 users, the first 100 users, and step by step like that. And at every point of time, I'm asking myself a question: is it good to scale more? If I have the ability to scale, is it good to scale more? Is it good to have more users, or step down, work with the current users, put some time, and it's like at every point I should do a self audit or self control, to ask myself questions if I'm on the right process, I'm on the right way. Is that what? Because I have friends who have maybe solutions making for like five figures per month, but the problem is they can't sleep the night. They have a lot of ticket support, and when I'm around a coffee with them, the idea is if I just can have a solution with the half of that income, but that need only 30 minutes or 1 hour or of support. So this is a decision that should be done like at an early stage. What is my vision? What is my why behind what I'm doing? Do I need a lot of money? For me, by example, as I say, I'm working like a minimalist entrepreneur. My idea is not to have a lot of employees, a big team, a lot of users. I want to have a lot of users diversified between a lot of solutions, and to have a lot of time or a free time for me. So that's the idea. Maybe if you put me on a choice to get $1 million or $1,000 with having more free time, I will pick $100 $100,000 instead of $1 million, because this is a question of why above everything, and sometimes money is useless when you have your time. There is like I remember there is the bus theory. It say that if you are going to the work at the morning and you get struck by a bus and you did, do your business can continue working.
The bus theory.
Yes, the bus theory.
Yes.
If it's not yes, you should be able to question your business, to question a lot of aspects, because the business shouldn't be dependent to you. It should be running on autopilot. So if because the idea is about that is mainly related to the freedom. Should I be able at a point of time to work anytime I want, anywhere? If I don't have like the mindset or the ability to work for 2 weeks, would this be possible? That's the
Your
question.
why is freedom.
Yes,
the reason why you
yes,
build
exactly.
products
So
is
the idea is the why. Maybe for
Yes.
someone else, his why is to build like a $1 million product, but it just should have a vision related to that why.
And freedom is important to you because, like, how did you decide that freedom was what was important to you?
Because I was working, I was having a lot of time in as an employee. I was having a good income, but I was geographically attached to a company. So when I asked myself, like, why I'm gonna maybe leave the company, build my own company, have more stress, more problems, maybe. So the idea for because I'm living like a partially nomad, so I go to
You've been to like 15 countries in like the last year or something,
yes.
right?
So I go to a lot of countries. So for every month or 2 months, I should go to a new country. So I can't be free if maybe I'm engaged with a company. So even when building my own company, at the beginning I was working on the IT services providing. So every day I have calls, I have meetings with customers, I have requirements, I have specification, I have invoices to do for customers, estimation, a lot of stuff. So at a point of time, I see that I left the previous company just to have the freedom, and I found that when I'm working on my own company, I have less freedom compared to what I was having when I was working as an employee. So the execution wasn't in the same vision and of my way. So at that moment, I continue with working, but I kept in mind that the idea is to have my own product, work on my own time on those products, try to scale them in my own with my own decision and formula. So that was the way or the process that was aligned with my way, is to work on my own products and to take them at a point where it lets me having them on autopilot with less users, but more users on the multiple product maybe that I will have. So it's like as I say, it's mainly it's a why. It's the why. What's important, because if you define exactly what is your why, you define a vision, you define an execution plan, and you go work on it.
I agree with
Yeah,
you.
fascinating. Joe, you got anything loaded up?
Nothing loaded up. I could ask some follow-up questions. How about you, Omeed?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You know, we like you know, Simon Sinek, for example. His whole thing is, you know, the power of why. Is that where you got it, or like how did you come?
No, not from that, but I read from Twitter, from books, but at a point of time, it's just from your subconscious or unconscious mind. You have
What
that
the hell
idea.
am I doing?
You
Why
you
am I
have
doing this?
yeah. You have that idea of what am I doing, because I'm always asking that question. If I'm on my last days in life, I'm going to die tomorrow.
Wow, you even plan for the exit of life.
The idea is you have to live in a way that satisfies you.
So not a lot of, I mean, not a lot of tech developers per se, you know, have that mindset. What I see a lot of is people falling in love with their own product, and just no matter the cost of their personal life, just continue to work on it. And whether successful or not, I'm not trying to say it's not working out, but I'm just trying to say, like, I know, like everybody I went to school with, they're still working for Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft. They're working, you know, 40, 50-hour weeks. Probably some working less. I don't know, you know. And I can't say it's a bad thing. You know, they're doing great, and I respect what they're doing. But on the other hand, it's like, what is the cost truly? And for those of my friends who are running with the tech developer background, who are running their own business, I don't see a lot of introspection like you're communicating here. And I think you're super great at kind of just being in touch with that side of things. At the end of the day, one of the things I say is people shouldn't be like working their business or working because they're like addicted to it, or they think that's what they're supposed to be doing. That's how they've come to think what life is. You know, you should build something great with objectives in mind, an exit plan. What's the valuation going to be? How can you increase the valuation? Yeah. What is the cost of all of your hours input into that? What's your timeline? How are you going to get there? What are the obstacles that? And then move on from that project, kind of like a project management mindset. Move on from that business. Go do, you know, if you want to take a sabbatical for a year, do that, you know, like have that mindset. And a lot of that goes in, a lot of that is related to knowing what an exit is, which again, you know, you're very, you know, on point about, but a lot of founders really haven't had that experience yet, or maybe they're just they're not business-minded people. And so just kind of having in mind how to do an exit, what does it look like, how to get it done. Don't be a shy person regarding that. Don't get too attached to your product. So yeah, I was just commenting there on some thoughts that came to mind about what you were talking about. Any follow-up questions, though, kind of carrying the conversation forward? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. For that, what you talked about right now. So I will tell you like an example or a story. Like it's a story of someone like he was on a boat like fishing. It was a small boat, and there was like a businessman who have vacation. So he meets this person who was fishing on that boat. He asked him why how much he worked. Like he told him I work 2 hours fishing. So he told him to him. He said that I do fishing for 2 hours. I took the half for my family to eat, and the half I sell it, and it helped me like pay my my expenses. So the businessman proposed to him to and asked him why you don't do fishing all the day, and you will get a lot of fish, and you will have more money. So the man say why? So he said like you will get more money, you will buy more boat, you will have more people to work for you and do fishing for you. And he say, then why? So I will he say you will open a big company of fishing, and you will be selling the fish for all the country, and later for all the region, and later internationally. And he say like why? So he say that you will have a lot of money to go on vacation like me, and discover good places like this. He say, I'm on that good place right now. I'm fishing for 2 hours. I'm living that life. So if that was my why, I already attended the why right now. Why I will do all the circle to get back at the first point. So
That's hilarious.
this is all related to the why you defined at the beginning. And I think the hardest part of an entrepreneur or an employee is to define the why. What do you want from your life, or from, because if you can answer that, you could do and go fastly on what you are doing.
Why do you think that's the hardest part?
I love that story.
Because it's not easy to for people to discover themselves. If you don't like travel, try a lot of things, a lot of experiences, learn from other experiences, have that ability of auto and self control and self auditing, it will be difficult for you to know what do you like and what you don't like. But if you got at that point to define the why and discover yourself and what is the life you are expecting to live, it will be easy from there.
Yeah. No, okay, I like that. It's a good story. I hadn't heard it before, but I hear you. You know, about sort of, I feel like we've gotten so many good lessons from you, or just like anecdotes and key points that like I think are really valuable. It's, and many of them, several of them being things we communicate too. So I feel like we've talked about a lot of good things already. Now in my head, I'm trying to think, okay, what else should we dig out regarding your experience, or maybe
I wanna touch on the second exit. I want to touch on the second exit. So the first exit, you you kind of hit a spot where you realized that there really wasn't, further to go with the product. And, it was either, hey, I'm going to archive this thing. And that was when you realize, like, don't give up, like, just list it. Maybe there's someone out there, and that's what led to that first exit. So what was that process like for your second exit, for the mobile iOS app? And did you tell us what the mobile iOS app actually was? Can you actually?
Yeah, it was the movie search.
Yes,
that's right, the movie search. Yes. That's right. Yeah. So what was that process of like, for the first one, you hit the roadblock, you listed it. What was the second? The
second was reversed. I didn't expect it to exit, but I got email from someone asking if I'm interested to sell the application. So I didn't want at that point to sell the application, but after like a few weeks, I see that we started losing some traffic. We started losing some users. There is some other similar apps that were published to the App Store. So I got back and reached to the person who was asking to buy the app. So we did the selling on the same day. We transferred the app and we moved, because when that's an advantage when you are working on a marketplace like Shopify or iOS, because you have a native organic traffic from the store. from the iOS, the Apple Store, or from the Shopify store, and you can always sell the application maybe and build another one if you don't have a clause on the contract of selling for that. So, and work on another app and push it on the App Store with some App Store research and App Store optimization, and try to focus on keywords, focus on aspects that might drive for you some users, and try to grow it little by little. So this is an advantage for a MicroSaaS or for an app that is published on a store, compared to another SaaS or product that is published on the cloud, and not on your own servers, because it's a little bit difficult to acquire users. You will have to put more efforts on the user acquisition aspect.
And who was it that bought it?
I think it was a particular person. It's not a company.
Uh-huh. And you don't know, like, what their interest in it was? Like they just bought it, but do you have any guesstimates as to?
I think he was having like working with a company that is interested in the user's data or something like that, because he asked me like to integrate their SDK, their SDK inside our apps, so they can go to the analytics of the users and everything like that. But we didn't accept it. We just transferred the app for them, so they can do whatever they want with it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense there. I kind of want to ask some of those real fundamental questions too about the third exit. So with FastDoc, what was the type of buyer? Was it individual? The first one was the Indian company, is that right?
Yes, this one. Indian
okay, got it. The second one, individual. How about the third one? And how did you again get a hold of in touch with the third one?
The third one, we we put a lot of time on the third solution. We got a lot of we were awarded by Product as the best productivity tool in 2020. So we got a lot of traction, a lot of and at a point of time we were having a lot of organic users from like we were on the first result on Google for document generation. So
nice.
there was like Canva and other were in the second place with us. So
okay, now I thought I had heard of FastDoc before, so maybe I really did. I didn't want to. My memory's just not fresh on it, so maybe I did. If you were on the first page on Google, I've probably seen it.
Yeah, so the idea for FastDoc, mainly it was at a point of time, it was and this is a problem we touched for the first time. It's we were asked ourselves how to make a solution profitable after being popular. So we were at a point of time not profitable, but very popular.
So was that because you had a lot of free users?
Yes, we were having a lot of free users, and we were having like 10 or 15 users per day just from Google. We didn't, like for FastDoc, it was running for like almost 2 years. We have never put any dollar on the marketing. So we were just working on the SEO, on the organic traffic. And when we got the award by Product Hand, a lot of people talked about us on YouTube, on blogs, on articles. So this helped a lot to make the solution very popular, to have backlinks, to have the solution appearing in the first results for document creation, document generation on Google. But the idea is why the people don't convert from the free plan to paid plan. So we put a lot of hypotheses to make the users to answer that question of why they don't convert, and we try to confirm all the hypotheses, but never of them was correct. And at a point of time, we discovered that the idea why people are not converting to paid plan because almost like 90% of people were asking for the template customization. So they wanted to create document on their own structure, own template, and that wasn't. It's not like impossible, but it was very difficult because
It was a fundamentally different product.
Yes, exactly. That's the point.
Yeah.
So for me, it's I at that point, if they came before like 1 year ago, maybe I could work on the product and try to customize template and put a lot of effort and trying to do that. But at the point where I discovered that, I was already changed the way of thinking and the mindset of how I'm working. I was already focusing on MicroSaaS and micro solution, and the idea for all the business I was doing is to just put create or build a product with one feature that solve one problem for a micro audience. So if that audience are asking for another feature, I put it on another product.
I see. No, I hear you there.
So the idea was to pivot completely fast talk, because if they need to build a customized template, I need to pivot all the products, all the technical aspects, because that wasn't the main point of the product. The main value proposition of the products at the beginning. So we can pivot if there is something similar, something that won't take a lot of time or effort. But to pivot all the products, maybe it's better to exit the products for someone else and focus on something else.
It's almost like everything always comes back to your why, because it sounds like that decision of, okay, this pivot is going to take way too much time, and my why is freedom, and so you know what, we're not going to do that. Is that accurate?
Yeah, because building another product from scratch for that will be very easy and very could be done in less time, with less effort, and with less cost. So for us, that's the idea. So
did you end up pivoting and spinning out and creating a template, like customizable
we were at that moment, because the idea is fast talk. We didn't work on the product for like 10 or 11 months. We just let it. We go to the users, but when we find that there is that problem, we stopped working on the product. And at a point of time, we decided just to sell it, because it's just an asset that is in our products that don't bring revenues, and it shouldn't be killed like that. And when at that point of time, it's still getting users daily. So it was the best time to sell it before it because we stopped doing any efforts for it, and we were working on the Shopify app.
Gotcha.
So mainly we put the solution on acquire.com, but we put it's still in our product backlog idea for the customized template.
So okay, I hear you. I'm following. So you put it on microacquire.com. How long did it take before you found the seller who ended up buying it? Like how many days?
It's like from the first day we started getting a lot of buyers. Like we got like 40 or 50 interested buyers. Everyone, it's like a market. There is people who are just asking for things they want. But we did have like 4 or 5 very interested buyers. We jumped on calls with them. So one of them, on the first call, he jumped with his legal lawyer, with his financial accountant, and with his technical developers. He was interested from the first day. So we continued the process. Like I may say that it took 20 days or less to start the process of selling to approve that buyer.
I see. So that got guy. So you got 4 or 5 like really interested buyers, solid potential candidates. The guy you end up selling to, did he reach out to you on the first day? Did you hear from him like a few days later? How long did it take until you heard from him after posting the listing?
I think after 1 week or 10 days, like that.
Okay, so you had a lot of interest, and ultimately, you know, during that period of time, you also had a few different very interested buyers, and you ultimately got him about a weekish or something out. Okay, that's interesting. How did the process go for you slimming down between those 4 to 5 very interested buyers to that one buyer?
So for the other buyers, like from that 40 buyers, we got those 4 or 5. We jumped on a call with them. There is the ones that were just asking to get time to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
There is others who like put an offer that is not acceptable for us.
Mm-hmm.
And there is that one who like gave us an offer, and we say that it may be okay. We continue the process. So because the idea for us, it's not at that point. It's just to avoid, because at a point of time, your solution may be your problem. So you have it's like it's taking an area of your mind.
Yeah. Oh,
Without
totally. No, I hear
so,
you there.
so you just want to get it for someone else to work on it, or to do whatever he wants with it, and move to other solution.
No, I hear you there. This is really useful. So so I hear how your narrowing down process went. One thing I call out there is it's really important for sellers and buyers to just really think about who they're dealing with, because we really often see it where people have misplaced expectations. Your buyer got on the line with his whole deal team, on the phone line with his whole deal team. And it sounds like he expressed sincere interest and was ready to go. And so that sounds like a really picture perfect example. A lot of people think they're going to sell a business, and they're not talking to that guy. They're talking to the guy who said, "Oh, I'm going to get back to you in 2 weeks." And the seller or the founder is sitting there thinking that deal is going to close. And then it's 2 months down the line. And so it's really important for people to have in their minds there about who is an actual buyer versus somebody who's not going to close. Because we hate to see it when people don't ultimately close their deal, but had all these misplaced expectations on it closing. So your process seems it was good. It was good. And so what was, so that buyer, was he an individual or a company? Was he rolling up businesses? Do you know anything about why
he's an investor. He's an investor entrepreneur.
Okay, so he wanted to build it out himself?
No, I think he has some customers, some companies working with him, and they wanted the solution for their process.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay.
So it's not for him, but I think he will resell it to someone else who know that he is in need.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. How many users did it have at the time of sell?
It's around 3,015 or something like that.
Okay. And at the time of sell, you were still getting like 15 new organics a month from Google?
No, it's about 10 to 15 by day, not month.
Oh, okay. So yeah. No, I misspoke there. Yeah. That's what I meant to say. And then what was the purchase price if you're not bound by confidentiality?
Yeah, it's around 18,000.
Okay, 80,000 in USD.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the solution.
So that's really interesting. This is a really good story just from like the micro acquire, or now it's called, I guess, acquire.com.
Yeah, it's acquire actually.
Yeah, and it's a really good story just from the experience of what that process looks like to have gone from beginning to close. Those were the follow-up questions I had. Omeed, I'll throw it back to you.
Awesome. Yeah, I got some questions loaded up for you. So from the first exit that you had, it sounds like the big lesson that you learned was be exit ready. You know,
Yeah,
you
Mhm,
learned
mhm.
create a folder, all that kind of stuff. What was the lesson?
because people don't like the be organized term,
Of
so we
course.
say be exhausted. Really.
Yeah. Like make it easy for the buyer, so that you
And
can
for
make
yourself, yes.
sure, and for yourself. Yeah, that's true. Maybe even more important for yourself. Um, uh, eh, what was the lesson that you learned from the fast stock exit, if there was one?
So for fast talk, it took from us like 3 or 4 months to build the MVP, the minimum viable product version. So the lesson we learned and that we are actually using right now is that we don't take more than 2 weeks, 10 days or 2 weeks maximum to launch a solution on the market and to try to validate it.
Mhm.
And because for fast talk we were working like about 3 or 4 months on the MVP, and when we started sending the product to some early users, to people to try it, it's like we pivoted all the user experience and the user interfaces aspects. So we worked more another 20 days to change everything because it was difficult to use at the beginning. To generate a document, you click the document, like you click an invoice, and you have all the invoice. It's like you are inside the Google Sheet.
Mhm, mhm.
So you have to create things and to go to the empty places and to insert the element you want to insert, or but it demands more efforts from users to go and click on those places in the template and insert their text. It's not like having a focused form. You have like you click, you have a calendar, you pick a date, you click the other field, you have a focus there, you insert your website, you click generate, you have the document generated. You don't have to search where is the empty places, where is the date, where is the so we took the elements, we bring them, and we ask you on a form to just fill the form, and we will give you the document. And that was one of the the the, the advantages of FastDoc, as wherever we are in an event or a conference, they ask us from where you get the user experience or the UI. Are you using something already built? Can you push it somewhere? We can reuse it. So people they like the idea of having a multi-step forms, because it makes it easy and focused to do the work.
And what about on the exit side? Like, what did you learn from the exit? So I hear that you learned something on the UX UI side in terms of like rapid product development, in terms of like how much time to make sure to spend on the product. What about on the exit side? Was there anything that like came
Yeah.
up for you?
Yeah, on the exit is we did a late exit. So at a point of time, we find that the product need to be completely pivoted. So it took from us a period of 10 or 11 months to take the decision to exit it.
You should have
So
exited earlier.
yes. So when you have at a point of time, when you have a problem on your product, either you can't acquire users, you can't make it profitable, you can't like work on it anymore, even if it's profitable, like you have other products. At that moment, you should take a decision. It's like either you sell it, either you scale it, either you change things, whatever it is. You just don't let the product on the side and work on something else.
How did
You
you
should,
learn that?
because we it's like 11 months or a year before, we did know that the problem from user not converting from free to paid, it was the customization of the template. So after 11 months, normally the problem won't change because we didn't push the customization of templates. So I don't know what I was waiting for.
Yeah,
Those
that
11
was gonna be my next question. Why did you wait? You saw.
Yeah, because just we were in a context of other apps. We were working on other things like it, and we got focused there, and we just let fast talk.
Got it.
And
then
fortunately, the product was always on the first results of Google, was always, because after those 11 months, if we haven't been always getting that organic traffic, I think the price would be dropped and we will be selling
that
less.
was like really the driver of
Yes.
the value for the app, was that, you know, it had really strong organic traffic, which it sounds like that's actually
Yeah.
one of your primary fortes in general, that you've
So
been
it's
cultivating and developing.
important to take a decision early and assume it.
Yeah, so that's so interesting. So yeah, I hear that, you know, what kind of kept you realize the problem and you waited 11 months. So and I hear that you were working on other products, you know, during that time period. And at the same time, it's like, okay, so 11 months goes by, like what happened? You woke up one day and you were like, okay, I think it's time to, you know, maybe just list Fast Stock on the marketplace, or how did that happen?
No, the idea is wherever a user came and asked things about FastDoc, or we got approached by someone about FastDoc, or we took a discussion about FastDoc, it's like it wakes up the area of FastDoc in our mind. And we start thinking about FastDoc. Well, we should do something with that product.
Oh, that's funny.
Either we should grow it, scale it, try to pivot, or do something. And every time you got an invoice from the server, you pay the invoice, I should do something about that. And from there it came the power of taking action, or the power of execution. You have an idea on your mind, either you execute it or you drop it. So the idea is to move, because there is the that when you have like multiple decisions, multiple elements, you are just compounding decisions, and at a point of time you will have like a charge on your mind for nothing. You will have like decisions about fast talk, decisions about another product, decision about some expenses, decision about marketing launch for something else. So all those elements are creating some impediments for your work, for what you are building. So the idea here, as an entrepreneur, you should be clear on your mind, because your main asset and more important resource is your time, health, and mind. So you should take care of them.
Yeah, 100%. So that all seems clear there. I feel like I have a good picture of that third acquisition. Omeed, do you have any more follow-up thoughts or things to put more meat on the bone there? I feel like we really covered it.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered it. I'm just curious, you know, the process of like, what can you tell us about, you know, the process of the actual sale? I mean, so it sounds like you actually weren't represented, you know, on your side, the, you know, buyer's counsel, like, was that all straightforward? What was there any sort of negotiations back and forth in the process? What did that look like with the buyer?
Like the sale and documents and negotiation process.
There were some negotiations, but for a good platform like acquire.com made the process pretty easy. Like we received few offers, we ended up choosing the best offer that fits. Then later we received the LOI, so the letter of intent from the buyer, and from there we got on them on Telegram channel with all the team of the buyer. So we passed the due diligence. They checked with us the source code, the graphics, the social media, everything. Because if I can add a third lessons of an exit is to never say wrong things or try to put things that are not correct, because at a point of time when you will pass to the due diligence, they will check with you everything that you say. If you say that you have like 3,000 users, at a point of time you will have a call with the buyer to check if you have really 3,000 users. If you say that you have that amount of expenses, you better have should have that amount on your expenses, because the buyer on the due diligence part will check with you everything. So even for the source code, you will jump on a call if the buyer the buyer is not a technical person. You will jump with someone else from his team or his friend or someone else. He will ask you, because for us it took like 10 minutes. We replied to all his questions about the source code. He opened the source code. He checked line by line. What is this function? What is doing? Like, what is this part used for? So if even you say things that are not correct about about the element you are using, or the APIs, or some copyrighted elements used inside the code, you better say exactly what you are using, because everything will be checked in on the due diligence part. So after that, after we passed the due diligence, the buyer sent an application purchase agreement. So we signed the agreement, and from there he did the transfer of money through escrow. We validated, and it was straightforward from that. So when you are working like on a platform like acquire.com, you don't need and you are not, because you are not selling a big company with users, with employees, you are selling a product. You should transfer the product and get the money. So after passing the due diligence, we passed we changed the domain name, transferred the domain name on the name of the buyer. We transferred the social media accounts to the buyer. We transferred the folder of the solution to the buyer, and he transferred the money. It was straightforward. So even for the purchase agreement, we just needed to read it and to check things, because mainly it was almost filled with technical aspects, and we know things about technical aspects. It's not like a purchase agreement of a company where you will find things like taxes, with like accounting, with a lot of elements, a lot of history, a lot of things to check with a legal consultant. But for a product, mainly the purchase agreement is mainly generated with clauses related to the product, that you should, by example, build a similar product, that you should by example use that account to receive money. It was generally related to the product and to the assets, so you can check it yourself. And when you are working on a platform like acquire.com, it's straightforward. They generate for you the letter of intent. They generate for you the non-disclosure agreement when a buyer need to ask you about your products. So it facilitates that aspect.
I love it. So for MicroSaaS entrepreneurs and founders, I think this was a really clear walkthrough of what the whole process looks like, and can kind of play as a sort of a guidebook to them. Because I mean, what you detailed there is the standard process, and you've touched on some really great points about it. And so it's really kind of a good example or guide for other people who want to do the same thing, for other people who might have some side projects they're working on but are going to archive it, don't know what to do with it. Throw it up on acquire.com. I think that's very useful for those type of listeners. I feel complete in the sense of I really understand what you did, and got some really good stories and lessons from your process and what you do and what you're working on now. I mean, you didn't get to learn a heck of a lot about me, but I got to learn so much about you and your process. And I think that was really awesome and very helpful. I don't have any, because of that, I don't have any further questions in mind. How about you, Omeed? And given the time we're at time now, what do you think, Omeed? Do you have any other questions, or do you want to lead to close out?
Yeah, I think we can we can definitely lead to close out. I think kind of last question is just like, so you're focused on MicroSaaS. It sounds like you're building a security application, for
Shopify stores.
Shopify, Shopify. Yeah. And so would just love to hear kind of and generally, you've talked about your vision in terms of you'd rather have 10 MicroSaaS companies, generating $100,000. So that's kind of, what you're focused on is building, all these different kind of MicroSaaS products. And that's what you enjoy. What's your vision for this Shopify app? Cause you're a person who plans for the exit. We've heard that. So I'd love to hear, while you're in it, you're building this security application for the Shopify platforms. Where's your head at with exit for that?
So for the when you want to exit a product, there should be a why or a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just go because for that Shopify app, we built it with an idea in our mind to avoid doing a lot of support, to avoid having a lot of problems. So it's mainly do one thing. It block users by IP and country. And we put it on a marketplace or on a Shopify store. It's like we got every month new users, new revenues, and it's growing month by month. It's like for 4 months. It's like for 4 months. We have more than 400 users using the app, and all of them are organically. We don't do more than 1 hour or 1 hour half of support per month. All what we do is how we can make their experience better inside our app. So the idea here is that we have all the time to work on other products. So the product is growing slowly. Maybe if we want to exit, actually we don't think about exiting the product, but mainly at a point of time, if there is like a drop in the traffic, there is a direct concurrent, maybe there is a problem about that. Maybe if Shopify release a feature inside their own platform to block users, maybe by IP and country, that will be a good reason to exit the solution. If we start having a lot of problem, maybe from users, we may prefer to sell the solution. But actually, the idea is the solution is growing slowly, and every user paying for the solution is an increase in the valuation of the solution for the future. That's the idea. So for like if I have a user paying $4 for the subscription monthly, that means he is paying us, if he don't churn, per year about $50. And in Shopify, saying that the apps in Shopify are sold by a multiple of 3 to 7. So every user added bring us like $200 to $500 of the valuation to the solution. So that's the idea. We are keeping growing solution. We are having like a passive revenue from the solution. It's growing steadily and slowly. So it will be crazy to think about exiting at this stage, because there is no problem pushing you to exit the solution.
So there's a really interesting conversation, I think, to be had here as like a final point, though. Have you ever heard of the concept of an exit number?
No.
Yeah. So the concept of an exit number. So planning for the exit from the beginning is like, okay, when we reach, this valuation, we're going to exit. It's setting from the beginning, knowing that if you hit this milestone with your business, I'm very, it's like, okay, as a founder, I'm very happy with what I've created. And, I know that I would be very happy based on the time that I've spent and the effort that I've put into this, that for this number, I will accept selling the company. That's the first thing. And the second thing, it looks like, Joe, you wanna add something
Yeah,
too?
but I want to hear it. Yeah, go ahead.
And the second thing there too is, I heard you say that the lesson is, that don't wait until the market necessarily pushes you to a place where that you're forced to sell, and maybe you can't sell as from as strong of a position. For example, with the other app, you waited 11 months, and it was the organic traffic that saved you. Whereas here, it's like, okay, it's growing, it's doing well. This might actually be the best time to sell.
There is a difference between losing time and waiting. So for FastDoc, we were losing time, we were doing nothing. But maybe for that Shopify app, we shouldn't just exit an app that maybe after a few months be worth more than the amount we will be selling for. So the idea is, it's not, if you have a decision to exit, don't lose time. But you can wait to exit if you see that solution may be growing more than it's now. And if the solution is not creating any problem, you don't do any support, there is all the time for you. And the solution, because if you have a solution, and even if you define an exact number, why you are going to sell the solution, and that it's like passively bringing an income. So if you have a solution that bring you, by example, $10,000 per month, why you are going to accept, by example, to take $300,000 and not keeping that $10,000 per month? That depends on your why. So for our why, I don't have a plan where I need to use a $300,000. But it's better for me to take the 10,000 per month and use it like for travel, or for something, for my nomad aspects, for other products. So it's like a passive income. But if there is like a hypothesis that there will be a problem, because you are in the market, that there will be, you should have that capability of anticipating the pre-checking the problem before it happens. And by example, if the cost of your server are going like craziest increased, or you are started losing users, and at that moment, before it's decreased completely, you should make a decision. And when you make a decision, you should exit, because at that time you will have already make a good income from the solution, and you will exit. From there, you will get back to the first point. It's an asset. It's like you are having an apartment. It gives you rent every month. So why you will decide to sell it? But if you got informed, by example, that there will be a problem on that zone, or there will be like a new apartment that will be built, and the cost of rent will be dropped for that area, at that moment you will anticipate that problem. You will put your apartment into to be sold, and buy another apartment, or build another apartment elsewhere. So if you don't expect, maybe if you have a lot of problems with people renting your apartment, they are asking for water, for hot water, there is a problem with the kitchen or something else, at that moment this will might push you to sell the apartments because it creates for you the problem. But if you are in your coffee every month, you are having your rent, you don't do anything, you have a passive income, and you have at the end you have an asset that you can sell at an amount of dollars at the end of its cycle. So you will have all the income made by that solution, and you will have the amount that you will get from selling the asset. So it's at the end it's a decision, and the exile should be driven by a real reason. We don't just exit like that. I wake up the morning, I try to exit. Maybe if I need money for another solution, I will have an exit number in mind, and I will say, or if I build this solution, and from the beginning I know that this market is not a static market or a stable market. There will be problems later. Maybe the solution is risky. We are using like a technology that should be that may be legacy after few years or after few months. From that, I should put an exit number and say that after those kind of months or after attending this valuation, I should sell, because I'm in a risky business. Even for Shopify, we have this solution built in mind from the beginning to block users by IP and country, and to not use anything else. Maybe for some friends working on the same marketplace on Shopify, they have like solution that use the API of if I say maybe Twitter. So you know that you are dependent to an API. For that, I would say just have an exit number and exit wherever you attend that number, because it's risky. At any point of time, you might have costs or expenses increased by Twitter, or API blocked or stopped, anything like this. So you should define at the beginning the elements of your business. It is risky, not risky. It takes time or not. It takes effort. It takes support. There is a lot of criteria to define, because before taking a decision of exiting or not.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. So that was some good final questions there, Omeed. I think that was nice. So why don't let's go ahead and close out here.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us for another episode of SaaS Buyers Club with Ayoub. I'm your host, Omeed.
And it was me, Joe, your co-host.
Yeah, thank you. I hope this episode brings you even a little of new knowledge or new value. And you can reach anytime at my Twitter in the screen. It's MSTD Ayoub. So we hope you enjoyed the podcast. Thank you, Omeed. Thank you, Joe.